Welcome to the February meeting of the Old Astoria Neighborhood Association. Thank you so much for coming. And as always, we always start all of our meetings with everybody introducing themselves. We go through with a mic, and if you just give your name and maybe one sentence about what you do. We do this to try and start to develop a sense of community here. And if you hear somebody that's into something that you're interested in, strike up a conversation afterwards. This is how we get to know each other. So I will begin right here.
Hey everyone, I'm Jamie Bean. I am an Astoria resident and I work in Sunnyside. I run the Business Improvement District there.
Good evening. That's what happens when you have dinner. My name is Andres Ledesma. I work for Con Edison's Corporate Affairs Department, and our office is based out of Elmhurst, but we kind of cover all over New York City, Westchester.
Hi, Mark Oliver. I'm one of the photographers here tonight. A pretty long time resident. And I have a film entitled Life is Hell, Living and Working Under and Around the Elevated Train Tracks in New York City, that I need people who live next to an elevated train. If you know someone who lives next there, I need that beauty shot of the train going by the window. So see me if you know anybody who does or knows somebody.
Good evening, my name is Bob Mina. I'm a firefighter assigned to Ladder 163 over in Woodside, Queens, not too far from here. And I have worked in Woodside since 2003, and I like to send a town. This is the middle of my battalion, the 49 Battalion, so we're up in here. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Kate Mamalita with Con Edison. I work for the Outreach and Education Group, and I am a Sunnyside resident.
Sunnyside's in the house today.
Hi everyone, my name is Carolyn Hughes. I've lived in Astoria my whole life, and I also work for Rebel Mopeds. I'm their community affairs manager.
Bonjour, hi everybody. My name is Dominique Perot. I'm a longtime Astoria resident. I live in a beautiful 1901 house. I still live there and I grew up there, and I consider myself kind of an art historian on the history of Astoria. I collect the postcards from that era, 1900.
You can see some of them on our website, actually.
Yeah.
Good evening, Gildo Spadoni, born and raised Astoria, Queens. Green, Western Queens, citizen pruner.
Good evening, my name is Alondra. I'm from the Child Center of New York. I work in the area. I work for a home visiting program in the area. If anyone has kids or knows any kids that might be interested in the program, just see me after.
Good, yes, good. What was the program again?
The Child Center of New York.
Child Center.
Child Center of New York.
Good. What do you actually do, the child?
We do home visiting. We do home visiting. We provide services for for children from birth to 4 years old.
Okay, good. Cool.
Hey friends, my name is Brian Salawada. I am also a Sunnyside resident, and I run a nonprofit environmental arts company.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen Jurek, and I run Hallett's Cove Theater, and I run the Astoria Women's Improv Group. We provide classes for women who want to do improv and perform at the local QED. And I'm doing a performance called Life Hacks with Miss Havisham on Broadway. Our Broadway. Our Broadway stuff. I'll be entering as the Astoria First Presbyterian. See me if you want a postcard. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Danny Wisniewski. I'm the district manager for Brooklyn Harvest Market. I don't live in Sunnyside. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for providing the food.
You're welcome. My name is Sam from Brooklyn Hospital. I'm an manager of meat department.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Claudia Kober. I'm the Resident Association President of Astoria Houses. And I've been a resident in Astoria Houses since 1955.
And just to reiterate, again, Brooklyn Harvest, we need to thank them and Costco for providing all the food upstairs. And also, I think that it's important that we support our local business. For the entire time I lived here, up until a couple of years ago, there was no supermarket down on the peninsula. We finally have one, so everybody please do our best, support it, so that they can support us.
Hi there, my name is Jeff Schultz. I've lived in Astoria for about on and off for 20 years. I am a filmmaker. I'm here because of Phil Capadora of the Astoria Filmmakers Club mentioned in the meeting, so it's my first time here.
Hi, my name's Angie. I'm the production coordinator for the Metropolitan Opera, and I'm an Astoria Park Lines volunteer.
My name is Joe. I'm an Astoria resident now for 10 years. I do some nonprofit consulting and I work in government.
My name is Nick Rollison. I just had a baby. I have 600 photos if anybody wants to know. But I'm here because I serve as Chief of Staff to Councilman Constantinides.
And I am Neil Hurtley, co-chair Friends of Whitewood Field. I've lived here for 30 years now, actually most of my life. And you know I'm an avid parkie.
My name is Vanessa. I'm born and raised in Astoria. I worked at a couple of high schools in the neighborhood. I work at Branson at the moment.
Good evening. My name is Phil Capadora, and while I'm not working part-time at Costco, I am the current president of the Astoria Filmmakers Club. We officially became a nonprofit Friday, and we are looking for clients if anybody needs help. Thank you for having us.
Hi, my name is Daniela, and I just moved to Astoria.
Hi, Dulce Perez. I'm a longtime resident in Astoria. I'm a high school teacher.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Byron Alarcon. I'm just a long-time Astoria resident. I love Astoria. My wife Francis.
Hi, my name is Victor, and I've been living around the corner for like 17 years now. I come from the Bronx by way of Brooklyn, and there's no way I can go back to either. I'm grateful to be here.
Good evening. This is my wife Grace. I'm Nico. We're newly Astoria residents. I'm an event planner, and my wife is an actress.
Hi, my name is Tony Foy, and I am the Education and Community Outreach Coordinator for LaGuardia Community College, LPAC, which is LaGuardia Performing Arts Center. And I love it here, and I love hearing what everyone is doing and to let you know what we're doing. So if you see one of these little square cards, pick it up, and you can beam us and go to our website and see what's going on. Lots of theater is going on.
Hi there, my name is Bob, and this is my wife Judy. Again, we've lived in Astoria for 12 years now. We've been rebuilding our house for 12 years, and it looks like it might be a lifelong project. We both did Judy works in props, I build scenery for Broadway shows.
Hello, Jonathan Rivera, recording secretary for Old Astoria, freelance singer, actor, photographer, and writer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Officer Grabhorn. I'm one of the neighborhood coordination officers for the Astoria houses.
Good evening, my name is Officer Roberts, Officer Grabhorn's department.
Hi, my name is Diane. This is my sister Anita, my neighbor Rosalie, and the three of us are longtime residents of Astoria, and I'm also a certified dog trainer.
Certified what?
Hi, my name is Ernie Brooks, and I've recently, since a while, I guess almost a year, been working for Carol Maloney as her Long Island City Astoria representative. I've lived in Long Island City for, almost 42 years. I'm also a musician, teacher, and have played with Richard.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we used to share a studio together, across from where 5 Points was. Yep.
I still have the studio, it's underwater half the time.
is Joan Jardine, and I'm a long-time resident of Astoria.
I'm Bob Hopkins. I'm a homeowner here on 19th Street, across from the park.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Wilson Prieto. I just been living over here by 20 years. So I'm glad to be here. It's my first time to meet with you guys.
Whoa.
Mohammed Yassin, resident of Astoria.
Hi everybody, my name is Stylianos Karolidis. You can call me Scott. Born and raised in Astoria. I work for a lobbying firm, Constantinople and Bologna, but yes, nice to meet you. My personal politics are a lot further left. Ask me about socialism. I should have probably submitted an announcement, but while I have the mic, we're doing a town hall March 5th. We actually just got the date yesterday. Town hall March 5th at the George T. Durs Tower about public power, which is intended to bring some of the utilities under public control, and we'd love to see a lot of you there.
Hi, Claire Doyle, Vice President of Green Shores NYC, which is a nonprofit that advocates for access to the Astoria Long Island City waterfront, and also do some writing for the OANA website.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Greg. I'm a lifelong Sunnyside resident, but recently moved to Astoria. Thank you.
Hi, folks. My name is Richard Melnick. I'm a local historian, and last month I've been a resident here for 25 years.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cecilia. I'm just volunteer for OANA, one of the photographer here. You'll probably see me walking around Astoria and take a lot of pictures of Astoria.
Good evening all. My name is Frank Miller. I'm a board member of the Astoria Local Development Coalition.
Hi everyone, my name is Jose Velasquez. I actually met Richard for the first time on Friday. He invited me. I'm an employee of TF Cornerstone, just right down on the waterfront, but I'm also actually running for office for New York's 14th Congressional District on the Democratic side. First time in politics, not a Queens resident, although given how many of you are here, you might convert me to an Astoria resident. I live in the Bronx currently. Born and raised in New York City my entire life.
Hi folks, my name is Daniel Bantes. I'm the operations coordinator for Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. Hello, nice to meet you. I've been in Sunnyside for 10 years, and I just thought I'd mention so many theater people here. I have a background in my theater degree, background in theater. This is a new step in my career for me, working for the Congresswoman's office, and hopefully with Richard's permission, I'll be talking to you a little bit more about what our office can do on the congressional side.
Hi everyone, my name is Susana Santana. I'm the Director of Outreach at Trinity Lutheran Church, Astoria. I'm from Long Island City. I've been there for 30 years. And I'm 35.
Hi everybody, I'm Terrence Ackerman. I'm Executive Director of Queens Theater, and I'm speaking tonight, so that's enough for me for now.
My name is Diane Kansoglu. I've been a resident of Astoria for 28 years. I'm a real estate broker and the treasurer for OANA.
How you doing? I'm Kevin Hernandez. I'm the vice president of OANA, and then I've been a resident here for 28 years.
Hi everybody, my name is Lucas. I'm associate pastor here at Family Church. Also worked for Bloomberg for 9 years now.
Another politician.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. And give yourselves a pat on the back and a applause. We could just stop the meeting now. I think everybody would walk out with a smile on their face. So that's great. I moved to this community in 1985, and my job before that took me all over the world, and I I couldn't live anywhere else. This is like a microcosm of the world. It's a microcosm of our society, but it's all walkable, okay? And the people are friendly, and I'm just blessed that God took me here. So here I am. And I want to also thank a few people before we go further. I'd like to introduce our Vice President, Kevin Hernandez. Come on, Kevin. And our Treasurer, Diane Consoglu. And as we said before, our blogger is Claire. And then also we have Jonathan Rivera in the back taking care of the minutes. And somewhere is Jesse, who helps us just set everything up. I'm not sure where he is at this point. But without everybody's help and volunteer work, none of this would happen. So I'd like to begin with just going over some of the updates on a few things that are going on. And there's a couple of people I'd like to bring up quickly to speak about a few things. But before I do, there's a couple of issues that we're dealing with now. First of all, scooter and moped parking. Okay, that's an issue that we're finding a big problem. Legally, you're supposed to park these between cars, and there's supposed to be 4 foot of distance between cars. The reality is that to find 4 foot of distance between cars parking anywhere in this area is a virtual impossibility. So it leads to a situation where either the car hits the moped or the moped hits the car. So hopefully what we can do in the future is we have a proposal out there. When you look at certain streets, you often notice that the parking spot nearest to the intersection is always no standing or no parking. Right. That is done, and it's called daylighting, in order to make sure that when you make a turn, your view is not blocked. So we thought that it might be great to utilize these areas to park these small vehicles in. That way we can make good use of an asset, and parking spots are assets. So we have a statement to that effect. We will be putting up a petition on change.org to try and address this. If you're interested, if you took the sheet and has an email address, email us and let us know, and we'll send you the link once it's up, and hopefully you can sign it. So that's one thing we're trying to do right now. Secondly, we're also working on trying to make safer streets, particularly around PS 171. We were lucky enough to have the DOT designate the area as a school safety zone, and it took years to get that, but we finally got it. It's on 29th Street right now. We are asking them to extend it to 14th Street between 29th and 30th, and we have the application in. We'll see what happens. Also, be aware, they will begin with mobile and then permanent cameras. Okay, again, our kids are our most precious commodity. We have to keep them safe, particularly coming up from the Astoria houses and coming up to that school. They cross over also Main Avenue and Astoria Boulevard, and we're trying to get them to put a light and traffic controls in 12th Street and Astoria Boulevard. It's another thing we're attempting to do. So also, you guys may be aware, we're also trying to get the city to extend the ferry. Right now, on the Astoria line, the ferry ends at Astoria, and the landing in Hallett's Cove. We want them to extend it to the Upper East Side. That way, it's like a 5-minute trip, and it would create a direct trip between the Upper East Side of Manhattan. It would be so positive in so many ways. We have a petition online. Hopefully most of you have signed it. And we're trying to talk to the EDC. We had meetings with them recently, and we are working on this. So if you have any friends or anything that would like to sign a petition that thinks it's a good thing, please do. Also, with the help of Jamie here from our neighborhood, we've actually applied for a summer streets program in DOT, which would be a sort of an arts walk, a closure of Vernon Boulevard, probably from Socrates up to the Welling Court Mural Project. We want to do that on one day and just have people be able to walk on the streets, and hopefully we can set up a few stages, have some sort of performances. Again, we're waiting for the application. Hopefully it will be approved, and we'll let you know what happens. Okay, so that's sort of an update on what's going on. I'd like to now bring up, for a very important subject, Claire Doyle, our blogger.
Richard mentioned two good segue points, the ferry and the cultural attractions on the Astoria, Long Island City waterfront. I think we have some handouts at the back, but please feel free to go to our website. We have just posted OANA's official position on the proposed replacement of the Q103 bus service. So I'm not going to talk about the whole Queens bus redesign plan. I would encourage you to go to it's https new.mta.info/Queens bus redesign, and again that's on our website. Have a look at your own particular bus. I know that Costa has been talking about the Q18, but the Q103 currently runs along Vernon Boulevard north-south. You can connect to the ferry, the Noguchi Museum, Sakudi Sculpture Park, the Welling Court Mural Project that Richard mentioned, which is our own little quiet hidden gem in Astoria, and also of course to Costco. So under the new proposed draft plan, the Q103 is completely eliminated. There is no bus service along Vernon Boulevard. So you're going to have to walk from Vernon Boulevard up to 21st Street. The Q103 bus currently is replaced by the QT69, which will continue to run where the 69 currently runs along 21st Street. However, there'll be fewer stops. If you look closely on the bus plan, there are fewer stops on the QT69. T, in case you're wondering, QT is temporary, Queens temporary bus, to avoid confusion between the current 69 and the proposed 69. So we feel that this is not a step forward. Our waterfront should be more connected, not less connected. The Noguchi Museum, Sakudi Sculpture Park, and the director of the Welling Court Mural Project have all signed on for our position paper. We'll be asking the MTA to take that into consideration. I've been to 2 bus feedback meetings so far this month, and all the attendees at the meeting were unanimously quite emphatic that they wanted to retain the Q103. They don't want to have to walk up to 21st Street and then walk back down from 21st Street to access the waterfront. And of course, if you have accessibility issues, you use a walker and assistive device. This is a real problem. So again, we just urge you to look at the position paper on our website. There's a link. This is a draft plan, but we've been told everything is on the table, everything can be renegotiated. But as it stands, if you don't give your feedback, the current plan stands and the 103 goes away. Thank you.
This is really extremely important, and I thank Claire for taking point on this. Next, equally important on a macro scale, this is more of a micro scale, is the upcoming U.S. Census. There's nothing more important that's going to happen in the next year. And I'd like to bring up Jamie here, who is working directly with the census, and she can give us a little update on what's going on.
Thank you, Richard. And just as a reminder to everybody, the census is supposed to be the complete count of people living in the United States as of April 1st of this year. And that determines a lot about what sort of funding we get here in our districts for a lot of essential services. It also determines how much representation we get in Congress, excuse me. So we are really gearing up for the beginning of census. Today, February 11th, we had over 60 teach-ins across the city to try to get the word out to folks just about basic census facts. March 12th to 20th is when you should see something in your mail that tells you how to count your household for the census. You can do that online or by phone. You'll really want to do that because otherwise they're going to come knocking on your door come May, June, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't want anyone coming to my door. I would much rather just tell them how many people live in my household. So you'll have the opportunity to do that soon. There are still a few jobs available with the census. If you are a job seeker, most of those are with the federal census. So if you want more information on that, go to census.gov. There are a very few positions left with the city census. There's one actually for a grant manager, so if any of you are fundraisers, ask me about that position. Yeah, I mean, that's the next few months ahead, and again, just looking at the outcome of this, by December is when all of the counts from across the country are due to be delivered to the President and Congress. And then March 31st of next year is when the Census Bureau will release the redistricting counts to states. And we are one of the states, unfortunately, that may lose congressional districts as a result of this year's census. So, please do count your household, and for folks that you know, get the word out that this is really important to participate in. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Very important. So I hope that everybody does not only participate themselves, but make their friends, if they have any friends that may be uncomfortable with getting involved in the census and giving out data, please do it the best they can to reassure them. I wanted to briefly thank one person that came in. She was the driving force between a lot of the work that we did in trying to create the safety zone around PS 171, and that's Miss Lisa Stone. Could you get up? Say hello. She's the principal of PS 171. And she gave a very impassioned plea here a couple months ago, and that started us on this move forward. So thank you.
But it wasn't until you joined and did what you did and brought all the resources that you knew to bring that we started making headway. And I think Richard deserves the applause.
Okay, so now, as you see, I'm lucky enough, I'm involved in community affairs, but I'm also an artist. And the arts are very, very close to me. My family, almost everybody except my black sheep lawyer brother is an artist. And along those lines, there's somebody that actually I served on community board one with, and I knew for many, many years. She lived for a long time in Astoria. And it's Terrence Sacramone, who's the director of the Queens Theater in Flushing Meadows Park. And you wrote this, so I'm going to read this little intro here. Okay, so Terrence Sacramone has served as executive director of the Queens Theater, a performing arts center in Queens, since August 2013. During her tenure, Terrence has produced new plays and revivals, presented a variety of high-quality, diverse works, ranging from world-class dance and family shows to expanded educational programming. In 2016, Queens Theater launched Theater for All, a comprehensive initiative to advance the inclusion of disabled people in the performing arts. Previously, in another life, Terrence served as executive director of the award-winning Astoria Performing Arts Center for 8 years, during which the company earned 21 New York Innovative Theater Award nominations and 4 awards, as well as in the 2012 IT Awards, Cafe Sino, correct? Yeah. Fellowship. Under Terrence's leadership, APEC's budget increased fourfold, and the programming expanded to include annual after-school playwriting programs for children and an annual performance program for seniors. For her positive impact in arts and culture, Terrence received honors from the New York State Senate, the New York State Assembly, Arabella Simotas, U.S. Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney, the Astoria Civic, Times Ledger, and Queens Courier, and now the Old Astoria Neighborhood Association. Terrence is acting chair of the Cultural Institutions Group and serves on the board of directors of the NYC and Company Foundation. Terrence, please come up.
I'm so honored to be here. I was really flattered that Richard thought to reach out and ask me to be here. Astoria is one of the great loves of my life, so I want to establish a little Astoria cred here. That I didn't live in Old Astoria, but I did live at 29th and Broadway. I lived at 38th and Ditmars. I grew up in Ohio, and I came to New York with a political science degree and some acting classes that I'd taken, and I came here trying to decide if I was going to act or if I was going to go to law school, and it was moving to Astoria where it really clicked for me that I would be horrible at both of those things, but that I might have an interest in running a nonprofit theater, especially in Astoria. There was something about Astoria that was really special and made it click for me. It was a sense of community that I'd never seen before, and so I always look for opportunities to come to anywhere where Astorians gather. Further Astoria cred, I am married to one of the owners of Saks Place.
Oh, great. I was there Saturday. Awesome, awesome.
Thank you. Go on Yelp. Yeah, it's been there for 31 years now. It's at Coffin Astoria. So Astoria gave me my career and it gave me my family. That's how I met my husband. I was a regular there for 6 years. So yes, I was at Astoria Performing Arts Center. I was at Community Board 1, and then I became the executive director of Queens Theater. It's a performing arts center in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. Has anybody, have you been there? Have you been to Queens Theater?
Yes.
That's terrible. That's terrible. I am here to fix that tonight. So it was built as part of the 64-65 World's Fair. You know the New York State Pavilion, the towers, the Men in Black, Iron Man, the Wiz Towers. We are at the base of that. We have a 472-seat main stage theater, a 90-seat black box theater, and a 60-seat cabaret space. So, and an award-winning like big lobby event space as well. So we do a variety of programming on all of those stages. We do theater, we do dance, we have a family series, we do education programs for children and for seniors. We do it with support from Con Edison, one of our main season sponsors for a long time. And we draw people from throughout the borough. Apparently not anyone here tonight, a handful of people tonight. But in general, we aim to be a place that reaches all Queens residents. That's our mission, is to bring the performing arts to the Queens community. We have free parking. We're easy to get to by car, 15-minute drive from Astoria. But we also have a 7 shuttle that runs from the Willets Point stop on the subway for an hour before the performances and an hour afterwards. It's also a pretty great bike ride to go to Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. So in addition to those things, we do things off-site. We partner with the Kupferberg Center to do Live at the Gantry's summer concert series at Gantry State Plaza. And we have education programs in Astoria with support from Councilmember Constantinides at the Senior Center and a school here as well. So we get outside of our doors and do work. One of the things that we've been doing for the past 3 years is our Theater for All initiative. About 3-4 years ago, in considering our mission to serve a diverse community, I started to question whether we were doing enough to be accessible for people with disabilities in the Queens community. And I started to really question that, to work with more artists with disabilities, to just learn about what I needed to know in terms of accessibility services, and we have transformationally changed in the last 3 years. So we offer ASL interpretation. We have 2 audio describers on staff. Does anybody know what audio description is? Yes, so that's where you have a private headset, and for blind and low vision patrons, you have a live audio describer describing what the set looks like, or the costumes, or the door slams, but who was it that exited the stage. So all of those things that make theater just have it be more accessible and more equitable for all audiences to be able to enjoy it. That's been our goal. We have Braille playbills during the shows where we offer audio description. So these are new services that we've been offering. We're also a fully wheelchair accessible space. All 3 of our theaters are accessible both for patrons, but for artists as well. So artists can get onto the stage without using ramps out of view of audience members. This is kind of atypical for a building, for a theater that was built during the era that ours was, but it means that we are able to work with a lot of artists and a lot of audience members. So getting the word out to you that Queens Theater exists, that we are here for you, we are affordable, we are accessible, we are looking for Queens artists and companies that want to work with us. We are looking for any of the connectors in the community who could help connect us with people who may be interested in the accessibility services or the shows. A couple things we've got coming up this weekend. If you want, if you haven't bought anything for your Valentine yet, we have Yamato, the Drummers of Japan, coming. It's just a really cool, amazing, exciting drum show, and the tickets start at $20. It ranges from $20 to $42. We also have a long history of developing new plays. We have a new play called Chicken and Biscuits that's currently rehearsing now. It's a great, super relatable play. It's about an African-American family on the day of the patriarch's funeral, but it's funny. It's a family drama, family comedy, multiple generations, mothers and daughters and sisters and cousins. We did a reading of it last year in our cabaret space, and the audience members who came to it was packed. It was packed. And then the audience members that came to it followed up with me. They were emailing me and calling me. And when I announced our fall season and it wasn't in the brochure, I got calls saying, you know, I got the brochure, but it's missing something. I didn't see chicken and biscuits in it. And I said, give me another couple months. You're going to see it in the spring brochure, I promise. Trinity Irish Dance Company is coming up. We have shows for kids. We're going to have a magician called The Amazing Max in April. And we also do free events and free readings, or we have a World's Fair Day celebration on April 19th that's coming up, where we're working with local historians and screenings of films about the World Fair. We're going to have a storyteller event. That's another cool one. We have a Queen's Storyteller Night in our cabaret space. We did it in the fall, and we had 5 professional storytellers tell stories about Queens, and then a couple of audience members also got up and told personal stories, and it was outrageous. It was the most fun I've had. It was unbelievable, and so we're going to be doing that again in March. So keep in touch. That's my big message, if any of this sounds interesting to you. And I brought brochures and I brought postcards. And I will have them, I guess, at the table on the way out the door as people leave. So I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions for me? You haven't been there. You have no questions. Failed. No, but seriously, I hope to see you all at the theater. It's a wonderful, it really is a wonderful place. We've been there for 31 seasons. I've been there for 6, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Indeed, make the trip out there, okay? It's well worth it. It's a wonderful park in general, and it's great to make a day in the park and then go to the theater at night. And maybe in between you can hit the Museum of Science or something. So it's an underutilized asset in our borough. So really quickly, for like 2 minutes, before I bring up the next presenter, the officers from PSA 9, is there anything going on that you'd like to bring up? Any issues that are going on? As long as you're here.
Any what, sir?
Well, there's any local issues that people should know about that should be addressed, or that people should be made aware of?
As of right now, we have nothing pending or anything.
That's a good thing, actually.
Yeah, nothing serious for anybody to look out for, or anything that we need to advise you on as of right now. If there is, we'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Yay, yay, yay.
Okay, so next, speaking of our first responders, I'd like to bring up now Mr. Bob Mina from the FDNY, who's going to discuss fire safety.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bob Mina. I work in Woodside, right? A lot of Woodside and Sunnyside going on here. So, real quick history about myself. I started out, like those gentlemen in the back, started out pushing a police car around in 1995. After that, I went to the fire department in 2003, and here I am. Right out of Proby School, I got assigned to ladder 163 in Woodside, 51st Street, between 4th and Skillman, and there I stayed. I never got promoted, I never studied, I never did anything. I stayed at grunt fireman because I love being on the back step. I love being a fireman. Now I'm 50 years old. My knee hurts. My shoulders hurt. I got carpal tunnel in my hands. I lost some of my hearings from an explosion that I was in. I'm fat. I don't really see too good anymore. So, it's been great. So, I love my job. All right? So, I'm on a little detail now to fire safety. And we're going to talk about fire safety, right? It's a little safer than running into burning buildings, but it's not as much fun. But they feed us, which is great. So let's talk about fire safety, right? So I like to have fun, I like to joke around, but really fire safety kind of starts with all of us. And it starts with the simple things, right? I have 3 kids at home. What do I yell all the time? Clean up your crap, put your stuff away, right? So Most of us are walking around, right? Most of you is when you walk to the local store, what do you have? You have your shopping wagon, right? You put all your stuff in it, you wheel it home, right? Don't leave that in a public hall. You live in an apartment building, don't leave it in the hall. That public space is for everybody. That shopping cart, that shopping wagon is easy to navigate around when it's daylight out, right? When there's no smoke, when there's no fire, throw in a little bit of panic, right? Because when you panic, your IQ goes right to the toilet, right? So, public spaces, keep them clear. How about this routine? You go into somebody's apartment, the door opens this far, right? Because they got a dresser, they got their shoes, they got their Christmas decorations, that useless shit that you got when you got married that you're never gonna open the box, right? You're storing that right behind the door, okay? That door not opening all the way, that makes it very difficult for us to come in to help you. Not to mention, light your kitchen on fire now try to get out and navigate around that, okay? Makes it very difficult. Again, common sense for fire safety, all right? Stairs. Who lives in a building with stairs? Probably everybody, right? Who lives in a building with elevator? A lot of people, right? So, elevator beats the hell out of the stairs every time, right? When building's on fire, we own the elevator. Forget about it. Take the stairs. Learn how to get to your stairs 2 different ways. If your apartment door is blocked or that stairwell is blocked, how do you get out? You have to have another plan. Have a plan B. The time to figure out plan B is not after plan A went south. Okay? Every day can be a fire drill. And I'm not saying be crazy about it. I'm not saying fixate on it. But when you go into your building, go in one way, come out another way. Train yourself, hey, 2 or 3 ways to get in and out of here. Figure out other ways to get in and out of your apartment. Who lives in a building with a fire escape on it? Okay? So it's hot in the summertime. You put that air conditioner in your window. You put it in the window with the fire escape? No, you are not. Okay? Again, a lot of people do that. Common sense stuff for fire safety. All right? Let's talk about a couple of gadgets and gizmos that I brought here with me. All right? Fire extinguisher. Right? Pretty simple, pretty safe device. Now, you were home at your house, you DVR'd Chicago Fire, you got yourself your fire extinguisher that you bought at Home Depot, and now you're gonna cut into my overtime, right? Is that the way this is going? No, it's not. What is this for? This is for saving a life. This is for if your kitchen went on fire, your apartment went on fire, you're gonna use this to save your life or somebody else's. It doesn't mean you take it, you go running in and trying to play fireman. We have found people get themselves in a lot of trouble using these. A fire extinguisher is a good thing, and I'm not telling you not to have it. But understand, it does not mean that you're Fireman Bob now. Okay? This is for life saving. This is, all right, so plan A is get out. This is like plan D or E. Okay? Let's talk about a couple other things here that I brought with me. Okay. So, real simple. What is this? Baking soda, right? You buy this at the dollar store. Really simple, really safe. Guess what's in this fire extinguisher?
Oh, baking soda.
It's baking soda. It's compressed baking soda with air, right? So now, you're in your apartment, you're frying up chicken cutlets, right? You got a little grease in here. Woof, you have a grease fire. You take this over to your sink, put the water on it. No, you do not, right? It's the guy's honest true story. I'm sitting in my living room, it's about 2 months ago, my wife is cooking. She walks into the living room with the pan on fire. I says, you are married to a fireman, right? She goes, look at the pan. I says, yeah, you're running around the house with a pan on fire. She goes, well, what should I do? I said, I don't know, you tell me. Right? So we can agree that running around the house with the pan on fire, not a good idea, right? Okay, so what are some of our options instead of taking a few laps around the house? Pretty simple, just put the lid on. Easy, right?
Turn the fire off.
Turn the fire off, right? If it's an electric or gas stove, turn that off. Take your baking soda, open it up. Boom, 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 there's your fire extinguisher. All right? Even if some of the grease leaks off onto your stovetop, you put baking soda on it, works great. Okay? Cheap, easy, effective, and simple. Okay? I'm going to leave a bunch of these up here. All right? Pot holders. All right? So, like every other cop, every other fireman, I work part-time job. One of my part-time jobs is I work as a medic for the West Babylon Fire District. A couple of years ago, I'm working, and I get a report. First it comes over as adult female unconscious. Then I get a report of elderly female burned. Luckily, I was very close to where it was. It was about 2 or 3 blocks away, so I was on scene very quickly. I pull up in front of this very nice house, and I smell burning. I smell burning flesh. I'm like, this is not gonna go well. So this elderly lady got up in the morning. This was about 6:30 in the morning when this happened. This elderly lady got up, made her tea in the morning, and she took her bathrobe and put it over her hand to get a tea kettle off. Her bathrobe went up. She did a couple laps around her house. I got there and she was still burning.
Oh, jeez.
Okay? It was an accident that didn't have to happen, right? You have to think a little bit. This silly little potholder would have saved her 3 days in a burn center, and then she died miserably after that, because she got respiratory burns. Once you get respiratory burns, you're done. It's not when you're going to die, it's just you're going to. Okay, once you burn your respiratory tract, you're done. All right? So, it's very simple. Potholder. I'm going to leave a box of them up here. Take them when you leave. All right? My wife does it. She takes the thing, she puts it over there, and what are you doing? Okay? There's no reason for that. Okay? Simple stuff. You got to use your head. That's where fire safety. That's all going to help you. All right? Let's talk about another thing I got in my little bag of tricks here. All right? So what do we got here? So you buy this at the dollar store, right? Now the guy at the dollar store told me he sells this for $1 because he cares about you and wants you to have the best dollar value you can have for your dollar that you can get. That's why he sells it, right? He's promoting goodwill $1 at a time. Right? Is that right? Right? No, probably not. If you think about it, the guy at the dollar store, when he's selling this to you, is making money off it. And he probably bought it from somebody. And that somebody probably bought it from the manufacturer. And they all made money on it. So if he's selling this to you for $1, what did they produce this for? Like next to nothing, right? Do you think plugging your toaster oven into this is a good idea? Right? You think plugging your air conditioner into this is a good idea? Plugging your refrigerator into this is a good idea? No. I wouldn't use this thing to tie my cardboard up for recycling day. All right? If you buy it at the dollar store, this, we can get it at the dollar store. No problem with it. This, if you bought it at the dollar store, go home and throw it out for me. Please. Okay? These start fires. These are no good. All right? Let's talk about something else I got in my bag of tricks. Right? So since we're shopping at the dollar store, my daughter loves the dollar store. Right? Look what we got at the dollar store here. All right? Look at this thing. All right? We get the microwave, we get the toaster, we get your TV, your cell phone charger, and I see some real motivated people, right? They'll plug this in, and then they'll plug another one into this. And they'll have like 14 things running off of this. Right? So, good or bad?
Bad.
Real bad. Now, I have a nice big screen TV in my house. All right, watching the Super Bowl. I was so happy Tom Brady wasn't on it. Right? So, your electronic devices, I strongly suggest plug into a surge protector. All right, we get power fluctuations. I live out in Long Island, but in the city, power fluctuations happen. You don't want to go blowing up your nice big TVs, right? But if you're going to get a surge protector, go to Home Depot and spend a couple bucks on it. If you look at the back of this, it says UL approved, underwritten laboratories. Okay, that's a surge protector you want. You want to have one that's UL approved. All right, you do not want to plug in to a surge protector anything that makes heat. Toaster oven, your toaster, your microwave. You don't want to plug in anything that makes cold. Your refrigerator, your freezer, your air conditioner, all of that stuff is getting plugged directly into the wall. Let's say you do need an extension cord, right? It happens. You're going to need an extension cord, right? You have to go to the hardware store. You have to buy something that's UL approved, all right? Now, let's say we are going to use our extension cord. So you don't want to trip over anything in your house, so you put it under the rug, right? So it's not a trip hazard. Is that a good idea? No, it is not. All these extension cords are designed to dissipate some heat. The way they do that is by being open to the environment, being open to air. You can hide them along the back, maybe put it behind a piece of furniture, don't run it under a piece of furniture, but you do not want to put this under your rug, under a throw rug, under a mat, anything like that, okay? Bad news. All right. So this thing, right? So you're in your kitchen, you're making your chicken nuggets and your grilled cheese for your kids, and it goes off, and then my wife puts it in the refrigerator. Again, I come home, I was like, sweetie, you're killing me, right? This I work 24, it's gonna burn the freaking house down. Okay? So, your smoke detector, if it goes off, you put it in the refrigerator, can we all agree? Not a great move, right? Okay, so let's talk about smoke detectors, let's talk a little bit about carbon monoxide detectors, and let's talk about technology, right? So, everybody sees that guy walking down the street talking on his flip phone, right? Remember the flip phone? There's still some people rocking that flip phone, won't get rid of it. They say, I'm taking this, they ain't charging me for text, they're not charging me for data, I'm hanging on to this flip phone. That's great. That technology was from 1991. All right, now you got your smartphone. Your smartphone does a lot of things for you, right? So, if you have that old smoke detector up on your ceiling that you've been putting that little square 9-volt battery in that nothing else in the world takes, right? In the fire department, we have bags in them. We can't give them away fast enough, right? You're talking on a flip phone. You're not talking on a smartphone, all right? These newer detectors now, first off, no more changing the battery. It comes with a 10-year battery in it. This also does smoke and carbon monoxide. And we'll talk a little bit about carbon monoxide, all right? So you put it up, 10 years later, take the thing down, toss it in the garbage, you replace it. This isn't gonna go off as much. It's not gonna go off as much because it's not good, or because you bought it at the dollar store over there with your high-tech extension cord, because the technology has changed. So it's not as sensitive. It's gonna go off when it needs to, not just because it has a little bit of smoke, all right? But it also now is gonna protect you against carbon monoxide. Now let's talk a little bit about carbon monoxide, all right? So, who here knows what carbon monoxide smells like? You know what it smells like?
Nothing.
Doesn't. Who knows what it tastes like? Who knows what it sounds like? It doesn't, right? Carbon monoxide just comes up and it kills you, and it kills you quick. So to Con Ed people, right, you smell gas, right? Everybody says, oh, I can smell, natural gas has a smell to it. No, natural gas doesn't have a smell to it. Natural gas smells because Con Ed adds stuff to it. Because they want you to smell it, they want it to be so unpleasant that when it leaks, they call Con Ed and then they call us, right? Hopefully call me towards the end of the tour and I make some overtime. Talk about that later. Right? So, carbon monoxide. Why does carbon monoxide kill people? Right? Carbon monoxide can kill you with oxygen in the room. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, oh, there's oxygen in the room, carbon monoxide isn't going to get me. No, that's not true. So, without getting too much into science, there's oxygen, there's an atmosphere in here, right? All right, that atmosphere is about 21% oxygen, around 78% nitrogen, and the rest of them is trace gases. I don't care what atmosphere you're dealing with, whether it be here, whether it be on Mars. All of the gases in that atmosphere have to add up to 100%. Can't get around it. It's called Dalton's Law. So, throw a little bit of carbon monoxide in. The gases shift, right? That oxygen can go down a little bit. That nitrogen can go down a little bit, right? We need about 16% oxygen to keep conscious. Thereabouts. All right? We have found people dead with 17, 18% oxygen in a room. Say, well, how does that happen? There's enough oxygen to keep them conscious, right? You got red blood cells in your body. Your red blood cells give you oxygen from your brain down to your toes. Pump around your body, right? Real quick anatomy lesson. Your red blood cells go to your lungs, you breathe in, you get air, it picks up some oxygen, goes all over your body, you exhale, it puts out waste products. Carbon monoxide, your red blood cells like that better than oxygen. So you breathe in, and your red blood cells are tooling around in your body, and they have a choice of getting oxygen or carbon monoxide. They're going to take carbon monoxide over oxygen. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. It's called a greater affinity. That's the buzzword for it. I just say they like the way it tastes better, right? So carbon monoxide can kill you with oxygen in the room, right? Where does carbon monoxide come from? It comes from incomplete burning. Everybody seen a campfire, right? You're sitting there with a campfire, right? Smoke, that's giving off carbon monoxide, right? But now you say, okay, well, Bob, I'm not gonna have a campfire inside my kitchen, right? So, but if you have a fire in your apartment, you can have carbon monoxide. You can have carbon monoxide 3 or 4 floors above you, right? You don't have to be in a fire room. Most fire deaths in the city aren't from burns. They're from carbon monoxide and the other gases that are given off from fires, right? What else in your apartment has burning, right? Your stove, right? Your clothes dryer, heat and hot water, all have burners, all can give off carbon monoxide if not properly vented or properly maintained. So, talking about your flip phone versus your smartphone, all right? That old detector you got, that's a flip phone, right? The newer ones now are the smartphone, okay? Protect yourself. There's no reason to die from carbon monoxide. I've been to several calls where we've had deaths from carbon monoxide, and it doesn't have to be, all right? Great program the city has now. If you cannot afford to get a nice combo detector like that, not only we will give you one, we will come to your house and install it. Whether it's apartment, a house, you live in a refrigerator box by the side of the BQE, we don't care. We just want to protect you. That's all we care about. All right? It's 1-877 Red Cross, but only put one S on. All right? It is a great, great program. Okay? Please take advantage of it. I've been lucky. I've been doing a lot of work with it. We are having tremendous success with it. All right? All right, I beat up my time a little bit. We've laughed a little bit, right? Told a little bit of funny jokes, but, right, that's my way to keep your attention. Bottom line is, you gotta be safe, right? Nobody wants to go to the house and die. Nobody wants to die for something stupid, all right? There's enough serious stuff going on that can kill us. Let's not give them the easy ones, all right? Anybody have any questions for me? Go ahead. Oh, sure, go ahead.
Question about 2 things really quickly. Elisa Greenberg. And the first one is for the carbon monoxide and the dual detector.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know about how much they are? And also, they're always so high up in the apartment, you need like a ladder. Is there a reason that it has to be that way? Is it just to keep it out of people's hands?
Right. Great question. So as for prices and stuff, okay. As for prices and stuff, I can't tell you where to go shop and stuff. That would be like me advertising. Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco, all the places have them, and they're all fairly reasonably priced. Now let's talk about carbon monoxide, right? So carbon monoxide and smoke. Gases do different things. Some gases go up, right? Everybody's seen a balloon go up in its head, right? You ever open like a window when it's real cold? Your feet get cold first, right? Cold air sinks. All right. So carbon monoxide is nasty. It can kind of hang, it can go up, it can go down. There's no real rhyme or reason for carbon monoxide. But the combo detectors, we like them up high because smoke generally goes up, okay? So you'll see people have carbon monoxide detectors, they'll actually plug them right into the electric socket. All right, the combo detectors, we just like getting them up high, all right?
Thank you. And then really quickly, I'm so
Right.
sorry, you're talking about the fire escapes.
Yes.
And as someone who's never used one and is terrified of them, any quick tips in case ever need to
Yes.
use it?
Keep your head screwed on straight. If you have to go down your fire escape, just go down. There's no, well, no, because chances are if you're out on the fire escape, we're gonna come and get you off it. So just get at it, hold on to it tight, don't panic, it's been there forever, it's gonna stay there forever. Don't, it's just like, can you go down the flight of stairs? Can you climb up maybe like a small little step ladder? You can do your fire escape then, all right? When in doubt, just get to the floor below, okay? Just get down one and just say, all right, time out, I'm gonna wait for the guys to come get me. All right, because we will. All right.
Electrical fire, you have an opportunity, do you shut off the circuit breakers? Donna Van Barton.
Okay, so Donna in the back asked me, so you have an electrical fire, you shut off the circuit breaker. I want to say yes. because now you've eliminated the electric to it. But does everybody have the skill set or the understanding of how electric works to figure out how to shut that breaker off? That's a sticky question. An electric fire in my house, if I'm home, first thing I'm doing is going over and killing the panel. We respond to an electric emergency, first thing we're doing is coming and killing the panel. So yes, I like that answer, but if you're not real good with electric and you don't really understand it, get out, call the fire department, we'll do it.
I have a second question for the
Go ahead.
carbon monoxide.
Yes.
Like Con Ed puts a scent into the gas.
Correct.
Is there a way, I'm not a homeowner, but I believe that certain things have alarms in case there is a carbon monoxide leak that, but is there a way that they can put some sort of an alarm or a scent into an appliance or something like
No.
that?
So,
yeah.
I,
that you can know.
you're not the first person to ask me that. So, Con Ed puts, it's called methyl mercaptan, right? Mercaptan into gas because gas is used, so they use it. Nobody uses carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide has, we shouldn't have carbon monoxide around.
Right.
We have to have gas around because you want to be able to cook, you want to have hot water, you want to, so we're using gas. So no, there's no additive to put into carbon monoxide because we're not giving you carbon monoxide. You're not buying it. It's not a utility.
Right. No, I mean, but if it triggers that the carbon monoxide is coming out along with an alarm, can it add a scent to it too?
No.
You know what I mean?
But that's why you gotta have a good detector,
Yeah.
and you gotta have the smartphone. You can't have the flip phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
We all have both on our block, Rosalie Molika. We've had electrical fires, both of us recently in our houses. It's terrifying. Is there any way we could become more aware of preventing an electrical fire? It seems to happen out of nowhere.
All right. Well, tell me about your electric fire. What happened?
It was in our a light switch that was connected to a light in the garage, and something. It actually tripped because it was during the summer. Everybody was using their hair dryers, and our air conditioners were on. So I think we were overloaded. So we overloaded. The lights went out, and so we tripped the circuit breakers to put them back on. When we did that, 5 minutes later, there was fire coming. There was smoke coming out of the walls. So we did not shut off the appliances before we tripped the electric.
So, average breaker in your walls, 15 amps most of the time. All right. So, you got your hair dryer, you got your AC, you got your TV, and your breaker goes. All right. So why'd your breaker trip? Overloaded. So you said, wow, you know what? It's got to be a conspiracy. The breaker's defective. I'm going to go turn it back on. And then you went and turned back on everything else that you were doing.
It was left on.
Yeah.
It was left
So
on.
I always tell people, if the breaker trips, it tripped for a reason. Turn everything off. If you're going to put the breaker back on, turn everything off that's on that circuit. You put it back on, make sure it holds. Then you start turning appliances on one at a time. Anything that makes heat or something cold draws a tremendous amount of current. Current, amps, kind of the same thing, right?
big territory within a day or two. But just a quick moment here. There's a huge scam problem around the city, and they love to target communities with a lot of seniors or customers who don't speak English as their first language. We've had scams where people are posing as ConEds and meter installers. So we just want to let everybody know in the neighborhood that anyone that is blue, it says we have. They have if they give you a hard time about this, might mean something is up. So report that to us. Just call our 1-800 number. You press the first button on the IVR, and a CSR will verify that we're a real employee. Okay, there's no cost for the smart meters. And like I said, you and on the day be enrolled to get some customized energy use reports, which are really great. They show you how you're using energy at what time of day. You get customized savings tips based on your usage patterns, and you also get those high bill alerts. So really great stuff coming.
Before we get started, please review these items.
It's a smartphone, listening to the smart meter. Okay, and all of the communications, we just really want you to go check out the My Account at coned.com. You can view your energy usage information, but you can also do other really cool things like pay your bill, enroll in programs, learn about energy efficiency programs and products. And if you're looking to do some upgrades in your home or business, now you can download your data, share that with the contractor. So we've made it really simple for you to make some greener choices and hopefully save some money. And for more information, just visit our website. We have smart meter information all over the website and on social media. And that's it. Any questions? I give.
Yes, go ahead.
Lisa Greenberg again. Two quick questions. Is it per apartment or per building? And also, if you don't have very good visual with your door and don't have a chain to open, can they read their ID into the intercom?
The second one, yes, absolutely. The first one, it's just based on where, if you have an individual meter and you live in a building, then you got your own smart meter. If it's a master metered building, it's 1 meter.
Do you find out as a tenant if it's a master meter building about that still?
Well, how do you pay your Con Ed bill? Do you pay into a pool for the building?
No.
So you have your own account. So you have your own meter.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They did come to me to install them, but they only did the electric.
Name. You're getting yelled at.
Name.
Diane.
Your name.
Consult. So they only installed the electric one, and they didn't do. Is that what happens? They didn't do the gas.
Yeah, that happens sometimes because it's 2 separate contractors, so they'll be back for the gas.
All right.
Can I add to that? I had the experience. Dominique! Dominique is my name. No, I had the experience Monday, and it was very good. My only thing is that maybe I didn't understand when I spoke to the person who originally set up the appointment. It is 2 different people that come. So when they came, when they were supposed to, between 8 and 12, at 10, I was thrilled. No, it's not over. You have to wait. Whoa, it's 11:45. Nobody's shown up. I called, and somebody was on their way. So that's the only thing. I think they should make it clear that there are 2 separate installations, and 2 different people will be coming that morning. If you're taking a morning off, make sure you stay right till the end till you get the second person. Sorry?
It happened for
Yes,
you.
it happened the same day, I know.
For me, it was done weeks and weeks ago, but they still haven't done it.
Personally, I would say it shouldn't have been done that way. You need the two guys at the same time if you're taking half a day off.
Absolutely. We'll take that feedback back.
Hi, Carol. I think this is great. My question is, in terms of like usage, like a bill can be like $25, but then there's like an access fee of like 80 or 90. Why is that so high compared to like the usage that we're seeing?
You mean with access fee for?
It just says for like access to like supply, right? So like for example, like I had $25 in electric and gas, but then $100 in just like extra fees. So then I'm like, okay, how much energy can I actually save if I'm still paying like these massive fees? It seems like. So is there like a plan for Con Ed to review what those fees are?
And what are they?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I can touch on that. I don't know what your bill looks like, but generally a bill, a Con Ed bill or a utility bill, not just Con Ed, but other utilities as well, is broken up into 3 segments. So you have the delivery charge, you have the supply charge, and you have the taxes and services. So it's roughly about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I'm sorry. Yeah, so it's roughly. So it's roughly 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
Can you read the terms for them so they understand by numbers correctly?
Yeah. So the therms is actually what you use. It's a unit of measurement for gas, and the kilowatt hours. That's a unit of measurement for electric. So just to answer your question, what we are in control over is the delivery charge. So whenever we charge you for the delivery portion of your bill, that has to be approved by the Public Service Commission. So we submit an application for the Public Service Commission. The supply side of your bill, that's based on what it costs us to purchase the energy and then deliver it to you. So we sell it to you at cost. And then the taxes and the fees, that's determined by the city and the state. So I hope that kind of answers your question.
Does that vary by like building?
Can you say it?
Sorry.
By what you got?
Sorry. Does that vary per building? Like I used to live in a 3-bedroom in Astoria, and like my bill was half the price. Now that I have a 1-bedroom, I pay double. So I'm just like, I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
It should be based on usage. But if you want to give me your contact information, I'd be happy to look into your bill specifically and get back to you specifically. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Dory. I just want to piggyback off this because I know it's not your purview to talk about suppliers, but we do have a choice in suppliers.
Yes.
So can you, and that could make a huge difference. We get to choose our own supplier. They're the providers. They provide the service, they deliver it, they provide the meters, but we can choose our own energy suppliers, and there's a really broad range. So is there a website or a place you can refer us to be able to shop intelligently?
It's actually on our website. I'll actually
Thank you.
mine. But if you just search, so they're called ESCOs. So Con Edison supplies, but you can shop around. You know, we just tell you to be cautious.
Yep.
Like everything, there's a lot out in the market, but you know, you can absolutely pick, if you're into renewables, you can pick a greener choice. So you do have options.
I just want to add a point to that question. That's a very important question. If Con Edison supplies your electricity or your gas, we cannot charge you more than what we paid for it in the market. And ESCO, however, they can. It can fluctuate. They may give you a teaser rate, and I'm not speaking down on them, but they may give you a teaser rate. It happened to my mother. They gave her a gift card for $100, and she signed up for an ESCO. 6 months later, her bill actually did go down 15% on the supply side, but then it went up 5% after that period. So I just want to, everybody should really be cautious as to who they choose and read the contract. And you can exit out of that contract
Don't
anytime
sign
you
a
want.
contract.
Right.
Don't ever sign.
And don't give anybody your account number in the street unless you're sure you want to sign up with that ESCO. That's important.
Mark Goldberg, what are the scams that they're running for the installation? I know the old scam where they call you up and say, this is Con Ed, we're going to disconnect you unless you go out and get a green dot card and blah, 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 blah. But what are they scamming people with the installations?
So they're telling you that you have to pay for the new meter. That's pretty much the main one right now.
On the spot.
Mm-hmm. And people are paying.
Yeah.
Hi Neil, my question is, it's not so much on scamming you, but some of these ERCOs are like very pushy. They come to your front door, they present themselves like Con Edison personal. Can we have a look at your meter? Can we see your account? What's the best way of handling that? They've been going around New York 2012, Astoria. Recently I had a bunch of ERCO people ring my bell saying, can we have a look at your meter? What's the best way for handling that from Con Edison's perspective?
If they're on your premises, you just say that you're not interested. If you're not interested, if they're, they're not going to push into your actual.
Law on the books, or if there's a law about ERCOs at all?
No, they can still go door to door. I mean, it's still door-to-door marketing, but you can always just turn them away. And if they call, they mainly call, and they can make their caller ID number look like Con Edison.
Yeah.
They always say they're going to save you money. So we just say educate yourself. Really, really read the contract. This happens a lot. It's a very similar story with a lot of customers. So you can save and then you don't save. So just be careful and do your research.
And just to add to what Kate said earlier, it always goes back to the ID card, and I should have my ID card. So the ID card, if they're walking into your building and they're knocking on your door, they should have an ID card, because one of the things they like to say is, we're working with Con Edison to lower your electric bill.
Yes.
That's the common first line. So April 1st, April, when is Earth Day? Earth Day is coming up in April.
22nd.
Yeah, April 22nd is a big day for the ESCOs, because they set themselves up in parks usually, and they say they're working with Con Edison to lower your electric bill on Earth Day. So it's a really devious approach. So just don't give them your account number. And to answer your question, Neil, education is key. That's why we do a lot of work.
They're very pushy though. So.
Yes, they are very pushy.
Hi, my name is Nick. I got a letter from Con Edison that was very concerning last month, and I think it was about the smart meters, that said that that the landlord was responsible for installing the smart meter, and if they didn't, the tenants were going to get fined. Can you talk a little bit about that? Why are the tenants being punished if the landlord isn't complying with this new regulation?
I don't think it was one of these, and that doesn't sound right. So the landlord would always be responsible. If you want to give me your info, I can follow up on that, but that's not the process.
Okay, thank you.
Because we have a no access fee, but we give customers a lot of chances before that even happens, and we would not hold the tenant responsible.
Hi, I'm just my name is Donna, I'm trying to, I'm with the lady up in the front, trying to understand, are these smart meters gonna be put in I'm a tenant, in individual apartments? Because our meters are downstairs in the basement where we have no knowledge or any access to the meters, especially if the landlord doesn't allow you don't know what they could do or not be doing, or what they have hooked up or not hooked up, or we just have no knowledge of what, until we get a bill. But, so I just wanted to have clarification of, are these smart meters gonna be in individual apartments or in the basement as they are now?
So the smart meter goes exactly where the old meter is. So if your meter is in the basement, then that's where the smart meter will go. But now, as a tenant, you'll be able to see your real-time usage. So that's what's cool. Once you log into your account, you now have access to your actual information, so it's not really based on the landlord anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Kevin Hernandez? I brought a Con Ed bill because I was curious on the therm on the gas usage. It's 63 cents for Con Ed, when you deliver, the carrier I'm buying it from, and the delivery charge is 92 93 or 94 cents. So you're 150% more than whatever we're using just to deliver. Does anybody else in the country do that? And what's the average price for a therm in the rest of the
And my
country?
bill's doubled since last year.
I don't know what the average price is, but I would suspect, and I'm being perfectly honest here, New York City, the surrounding suburbs, is more expensive than other utility companies.
That's just to purchase the therm though, right?
It's to bring the gas to this area.
That's 150 more than the therm is.
But
so
also,
we're paying.
but I can look in, if you want, I can definitely look into your bill thoroughly.
Why wouldn't you have that information? You're going to come today. You talk about therms all day. You don't know what the competition has. You don't know what across the river they pay. You have no idea.
I'm guessing they pay less, but I can look into it thoroughly if you like. I'm not going to answer a specific question very generally without.
Well, I don't think it's a question. I just want everybody to know why they're paying so much, why their bill's so high. You know, a typical one-bedroom apartment, why should it be over $100 when we just built a building that has, you know, LED lighting, has a, you know, 96% efficiency on the boilers, and we have a, you know, let's say a very high thermal usage on the electricity for the AC. And then we have an older building that has an old meter, and they're paying half the bill. And I know because I'm on both sides of the coin. So, you know, I get the questions. So I get the questions. I don't have the answers. I'm talking to you because we figure you guys have the answers. So that's why I'm here right now to speak to you.
Right.
I would like you to be a little more clear because most people don't understand. I'm a plumber, so I understand what a therm is. But most people won't understand that.
Right.
So, you know, so I think we should have a little more information when you have this.
Give a more thorough explanation to that specific question?
I think everybody who pays this bill
Yeah.
deserves that.
Yeah.
And maybe have some understanding what everybody else paid and why we should complain when we have a problem and 20 guys from Con Ed show up. And then maybe that's why delivery charges so much money.
Right. Well,
Maybe, I don't know.
Thanks for your question. We'd be happy to come back. New York City we have a lot more regulations in New York City. And just to give you a broad answer to your very specific question, New York City has a very tight regulatory market when it comes to the way we do business, the way any utility company does business in this area. We have 15,000 employees. I don't know what percentage of them are unionized, but we're also subject to collective bargaining agreements. So we pay our employees a decent salary, and we're proud of that. So a lot of we also pay heavy property taxes. We're the top property taxpayer in New York City. So we're proud of the fact of our employees. We're proud of the fact that we treat them well. But if you want a specific answer to your question, I'd be more than happy to arrange to come back here with the right people to answer those questions. Just give me a little bit more details about what you want us to speak about.
Well, it's just that, you know, when you look at somebody else's usage term, I have property in all the states. When I look at my bill I laugh.
Right. But other states are not as expensive
I would
as
like
New
to
York
see
City.
that so everybody understands.
Right. But that's a great question. We'd be happy to answer it thoroughly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't think you can compare New York City, the complexity of New York
Your
City.
name, please, sir.
Your name for the record, please.
Frank Miller, I'm sorry. I'm a professional electrical engineer. I don't think you can compare New York City to any other locale. Most of the delivery charges for electric, I can only speak to the electric side, is for the infrastructure. It's for the substations. It's for all the equipment that allows Con Ed to bring that power from a major substation right to the home. So Con Ed has to replace this equipment. They have to pay for the transformers. They have to pay for the wiring. You see them in the streets. That's part of your delivery charge. Labor is also part of that. I would assume that definition also applies to gas, with the piping, with the low pressure, high pressure systems that they have, with the interconnect to the Continental Pipeline, etc. I had extensive experience with the New York Power Authority, which supplies power to Con Ed. It's for the municipal side, not for the public side. So therefore there was a lot of infrastructure associated with that, and that's very expensive to maintain. That's where a lot of costs associated with the Con Ed delivery charges, especially on the electric side.
Thank you. Thanks, Frank, for explaining that.
Okay. One more question. Okay.
Hi, my name is Dominique. I lived in Canada for several years and we had the smart meters, and I'm just thinking of the same thing as happening here. In the future, are there any plans to help us or encourage us to adjust our consumption to the time of the day? For instance, use your dishwasher after 11 and you might be paying less, things like that. Is that in the future? That's kind of what I think when I see, ooh, smart meters. They're going to control it. They're going to ask us to use it at different times, which might not really be convenient if you're working or you have a different schedule.
So, right, so currently customers in Westchester, Staten Island, and some parts of Brooklyn, we rolled out a bunch of rate plan pilots. So now that they got their smart meters first, so we're testing out different plans, and there's like 25 different plans. Some are time of use, some are demand. And we're gonna see how they like it, you know, how many enroll, how many opt out, what customers preferred the most. And then we'll go from there. But that's where we're at, and we're not even close to rolling out an actual plan yet.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks very much, and I know that you'll be coming back to us with some information. We'd love to have you come back. We're looking forward to it. Okay, before everybody leaves, I want to bring Daniel up, okay? He's a representative of Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. Daniel?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Thank you. My name is Daniel. I am the operations coordinator for Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez's district office. I am also the field representative for the Sunnyside, Astoria, and Woodside area. I may not be able to make it to this meeting every month, but I'll always be in touch with Richard. So if anybody needs to get in touch with me specifically, feel free to go through Richard. You can take my card tonight. You can call the district office whenever you want. I want it to be easy for you to get in touch with me. That said, I have a couple of updates from our office. First of all, the Congresswoman attended a town hall at Albert Einstein School of Medicine on January 23rd. As you know, half of our district is up in the Bronx. She discussed Medicare for All and reproductive justice and took questions from the audience. If you didn't have an opportunity to join us at that town hall, you can watch the full video on our Facebook page at RepAOC. We'll also be holding our February town hall on February 22nd in Northern Corona. It's going to be at the Louis Armstrong Middle School. We haven't officially announced it, and the RSVP page is not up yet, but it will be by the end of the week. The focus of that town hall is going to be the census. We're doing one in Queens this month and one in the Bronx next month in the most undercounted areas of our district, in the Queens section and the Bronx section, with the hope of getting the highest possible count out of New York 14 as we can. So a few of the things that we're doing around the census, in addition to the town halls, we're trying to get in touch with all of the complete count committees. Jamie, is that what you're running, a complete count committee, or you're with the borough president? Okay, so there are complete count committees all over the city. Some of them are self-organized. So if you know of a complete count committee or a part of one, please get in touch with us. We can be a resource for you as connection to the New York City census or the federal census as well. We all have the same goal of getting people counted, so the more we can work together, the better. We also will set up our office to be a place where you can come in and do the census if you don't have a computer yourself. As Jamie mentioned, you can always do it online or do it over the phone once that launches on March 12th. And then we'll also be sharing regular updates of the count of how it's going in New York 14. That information is all going to be accessible to everybody. I believe it's census.gov/Rome is the website where you can go and find all that information once it's being published. But we'll also be publishing it on our social media just to keep everybody updated about how New York 14 specifically is going. Please touch base with me after if you have any other questions about the census. A legislative update. This month, among others, the Congresswoman signed on to H.R. 2456, a bill to repeal the 2002 authorization of use of military force, as well as H.R. 3222, the No Public Charge Deportation Act, which says that no federal funds can be used to enforce the administration's new public charge rule. She also signed on to the DNL Act, which would lower the threshold. This is important for the Astoria area. Lower the threshold for airplane noise calculated by the FAA. So right now, the threshold is 65 DNL, which means day-night average sound level. at which point the FAA is required to provide noise-reducing insulation to affected homes, and this bill would lower that threshold to 55 dNL. So obviously it's a piece of legislation, it needs to pass the House, pass the Senate, and get signed into law, but that's one of the things that the Quiet Skies Caucus, which is a caucus in the House specifically around noise levels from airplanes, is working around, so that's a current bill that she has signed on to. And finally, the Congresswoman held a press conference with her colleagues to unveil the People's Housing Platform. It's a collective platform tackling tenant rights, housing assistance, real estate speculation, public housing construction, and more. And she highlighted our A Place to Prosper legislation while simultaneously uplifting the voices of tenant leaders, housing advocates, and public housing residents. I have one more page here. As always, our office will assist constituents with any federal issues that they have. This includes immigration, Social Security, and other concerns with federal government agencies. Our caseworkers are available 9 to 5 every weekday, but Wednesdays, 9 to 2 on Wednesdays for walk-ins at the office, which is 74-09 37th Avenue, Suite 305 in Jackson Heights, right near the Roosevelt Avenue stop. That's where I work every day. But you can also submit constituent services requests on the website, ocasio-cortez.house.gov. And you can follow our alerts on social media about events, newsletters, things like that, at RepAOC on all platforms. I also have some copies of our most recent newsletter from December, which I can give to you today. I also have a sign-up list so you can sign up for the newsletter. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer questions. Great.
I have a question.
Here.
Name is Hosanna. And when you say immigration, what do you mean? Like, if anybody needs some type of
Yeah, I can explain
like
it.
legal assistance or?
So there's a lot of, it's a good question because there's a wide range of assistance that people need. So you have people who are applying for citizenship or starting an application. We always advise those people to get an immigration lawyer, particularly because in New York City, free immigration help, immigration legal help is provided by Action NYC at the city level and OANA at the state level. So we refer people to Action NYC to get that lawyer and work with the lawyer to fill out those applications because we are not immigration legal experts on the staff. So you're gonna get the best advice catered to your specific needs with a lawyer. Then you have people who have already opened an application and are having trouble with communicating with USCIS or the State Department. So they've submitted an application and it's been 2 years, 3 years, and we have seen a lot of extending wait times with this administration. The more rules that get put in place and the more obstacles that get put in place, people's wait times are getting longer and longer and longer. Sometimes that is because those are policies that are being passed by the administration. Sometimes it is negligence or poor communication on the side of USCIS. And so we can put an inquiry in to try and help figure out what's going on. By House ethics rules, we're not allowed to tell the agency what to do, but we can make an inquiry and they hold our inquiry with a lot more weight than they would if you just reach out as an individual citizen. And so they see our inquiry and then usually it helps to kind of get things moving along. So it's for people who have active, open cases with USCIS or DHS or any immigration-related agency, we can put that inquiry in to try and get you the answer or connect you with the right agency that you need. We've helped with people who have lost documents, things like that, and we can, try and figure those things out for you.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else?
And just to follow up, that's also true with any federal agency. So, it's not just USCIS. We do that with the IRS, with Social Security, with the Post Office, with passports, any federal agency, it's the same process.
Right, just a word also from Ernie Brooks and a word for Carol Maloney, who has the two adjoining congressional districts, and she's also been very involved in fighting to get this census complete and make sure that people are not afraid to be counted. Because if everybody's not counted, our districts are going to lose money, we're going to lose representation. In fact, Alexandria and Carolyn did an event together last spring at LaGuardia.
Yeah,
I mean, basically, we're all working together for this. And it's a hugely important issue. And we all know what they tried to do with putting a question about citizenship, which through the efforts of the Congress finally went to the Supreme Court and it was thrown off. But we know what the Trump administration is trying to do with it, and it's something we really have to make sure that these communities stand up and we all get counted.
Ernie makes a good point. I mean, the citizenship question was taken off the census. It is not on the census, but it still had an effect of scaring people away from filling out the census, right? So it's important to know, one, that the citizenship question is not on there. Two, that the information that you give to the census is federally protected. They're not allowed to share it with anybody. So we really, even our at-risk immigrant communities do not need to be scared to fill out the census. And in fact, it's even more important for them to fill it out because they usually go uncounted. So if we can ensure that everybody that lives in our district is counted, we can ensure that we get proper representation. There are chunks of our district that 10 years ago went almost 30% uncounted, which is very dramatic if you think about, we're talking about federal funding, we're talking about representation at the federal level with our congressional seats. And these numbers are used for things at the state and city level too. They're used over the course of a decade. They're used for many, many different things. So it has a huge effect if a community goes uncounted, undercounted or uncounted. Yeah. And it will be, allaying those fears will be a main topic of the town halls that we're going to do as well.
And I think both the districts, the 12th and the 14th, were both quite heavily undercounted in the last census.
A lot of Queens and the Bronx were very heavily undercounted. And just since Ernie and I are both talking here, so people are aware, we represent basically north of the bridge and east of the train. And Ernie represents everything south, or Carolyn Maloney. Yes, north of the Triborough Bridge and east of the N train, and then Ernie represents everything that's south and west of that.
And just that, if you want to reach me, Richard's as good a place to do it as anybody. He's got my numbers, my cell number, and everything, and I'll make sure he can give it to you.
Great.
Or I can give it to you too.
And I think I mentioned, but I do have a newsletter sign-up sheet if anybody would like to fill that out. Thank you for having me, Richard.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. One announcement I want to make, it's important, starting next month, we're moving the meeting. We found that we really, over the last 6 months, have had a lot of sort of competing events going on a Tuesday, so we are moving the meeting to the second Wednesday of every month, starting next month, okay? In the same venue here. I'd like to take a second to please have a big round of applause for Lucas and Chris and everybody for the family church. Thank you so much. You help us so much. We've been able to take a step forward. Right now, these events are live streamed on Facebook. So if you ever can't miss it, or if you can't be here, you can check it out that way. And also you'll find them on YouTube, and this is through some of the equipment that this church has. So we greatly appreciate it. Next month, our main presenters, it should be a great meeting. We have the New York City Department of Transportation, and then we have the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, primarily talking about the renovation of the airports. So it should be interesting. Everyone have one question?
Not a question. Could I make a brief announcement about the public power? I should have emailed you about it in advance. It's okay if I can't.
Okay. And does anybody have any announcements they want to make? Anybody else? Okay, if you want to make a brief one, go ahead. Bring them up.
Sorry, and thank you.
No, it's okay. He said, no problem. This is a forum, so everybody should be able to make announcements. Just if you let me know beforehand, then I can schedule it. So.
Sorry, Richard. Stilianos, you can call me Scott. I wasn't prepared to make an announcement, but then I realized it's probably as good a time as any. Con Ed folks, I hate to do it while you're here, I'm sorry. I know you work for Con Ed, you're not Con Ed. I saw a lot of folks with their Con Ed bills, so next month, March 5th, from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Hannock Building, right off Astoria Boulevard, we are hosting a town hall for something called Public Power. We have 3 bills in the state legislature that are going to eliminate investor-owned utilities from New York State. So we're going to take control away from entities like Con Ed and NRG so that they can no longer pollute our air and make profits off of us and raise the rate, you know, these rate hikes that we just had. We just had a rate hike in January, right? We're going to try and put an end to that by getting rid of the investor-owned utilities in New York State, and so that a private company can no longer have a monopoly on an extremely necessary service that we have here. We have no choice, right? We all have to use Con Ed for our electricity. I would love to see you all out there. I'm also going to make a presentation at the community board meeting next Tuesday. So if anyone goes there, you know, you'll get a reminder. Thanks again, Richard. I'll email you about it too. Sorry.
By the way, along those lines, I grew up in Rochester, New York. And Rochester, New York was actually the home of the state's only community-owned gas and electric company, Rochester Gas and Electric. Anyway, listen, thanks everybody for coming down. It's great having one. Thanks to Brooklyn Harvest and Costco for donating the food. Again, thanks to Family Church. And thanks to all the volunteers that make this possible. See everybody soon. Thank you.
How are you?
That half time ago.